Hello everyone, and an extremely warm welcome to your very own chemistry guide, Utsav's ChemTrek. Over the past few days, we've realized that we've been getting lots of love and appreciation from all of y'all around the country, including Devlali in Maharashtra, Sikar in Rajasthan, and Kolkata in West Bengal. And we would like to say just one thing in return, a heartfelt thank you. For the exact same reason, I have an extremely special request to make to all of y'all. Henceforth, whenever y'all watch a video from Utsav's ChemTrek, do let us know in the comment section below which school in which part of the country y'all are from. It would give us immense amount of happiness to know how diverse our YouTube channel community is. So the chapter that we are going to learn today is called as Atomic Structure. As far as this particular video is considered, it can be viewed by both students of Standard 8 and students of Standard 9 who are currently studying in the ICSE board. The thing is that most of the textbooks that I have seen for this particular chapter give a large amount of information, which is obviously not a bad thing. But as far as this particular video is considered, we are only going to stick to the scope of syllabus which has been prescribed by the ICSE board. So the chapter Atomic Structure begins with a total of 2 definitions that you all need to keep thoroughly memorized. The first of which is called as an element. I'm giving you all the definition, listen to this carefully. An element is a pure substance made up of only one kind of atoms. It cannot be subdivided into 2 or more simpler substances by physical means or chemical means. Now, you all must have realized that an element is ultimately made up of atoms, and that happens to be our second definition. An atom is considered to be the smallest particle of an element. It takes part in a chemical reaction and is considered to be the basic unit of matter. For example, a single atom of oxygen is represented by its symbol as O, and in a similar manner, a single atom of chlorine is represented by its symbol Cl. All of the information that you all require for these 2 definitions is there onto the board. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. Now, right in the beginning of the chapter, with respect to the kind of textbook that you all are using, you all might have been made aware of a lot of important discoveries as far as the chapter Atomic Structure is considered. However, how these discoveries were made, how the experiments were carried out are actually not there in your scope of syllabus. Nonetheless, over here onto the board, I have made a list of all those important discoveries with respect to the scientists who have been credited with these discoveries. As you all can see onto the board, cathode rays, which are actually negatively charged rays, were discovered by the scientist William Crookes. Building upon that work, we have the discovery of electrons by a scientist called as J.J. Thomson. Then we have the protons discovered by Goldstein. The atomic nucleus, which is there right into the center of the atom, discovered by Lord Rutherford. And finally, we have the neutrons, which have been discovered by James Chadwick. If ever you all do require this information, it's there onto the board. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. Now, you all must be well aware about the fact that an atom is considered to be divisible. यानी कि एक एटम को डिवाइड किया जा सकता है. जो पार्टिकल्स हमें एटम को डिवाइड करने के बाद मिलते हैं, हम उन्हें बुलाते हैं सब एटॉमिक पार्टिकल्स. And in this particular part of the video, I'm going to tell you all what these particles are, how are they exactly represented, उनका चार्ज क्या है, उनका मास क्या है, and where are they exactly located within an atom. The first subatomic particle that we're going to discuss is called as a proton. जहां तक प्रोटॉन के बारे में बात है, it is represented by a single letter P, and there is some information that I would like to give you all. Listen to this very, very carefully. जो भी चीज हम रेगुलरली लिखते हैं, जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे P को एकदम रेगुलरली लिखा है, मैं उसे बुलाता हूँ स्क्रिप्ट. जिस भी चीज को मैं स्क्रिप्ट के नीचे इस तरीके से लिखता हूँ, we will call it as the subscript. and a similar manner, the thing that you'll write above the script will be called as a superscript. In all of the examples given over here, remember that a subscript will represent the charge and the superscript will represent the mass of that particular particle. अब इस चीज से हमें ये पता पड़ता है that a proton is considered to be positive, यानी उसका charge is going to be +1 and the mass of a single proton is going to be 1 AMU, यानी कि 1 atomic mass unit. In a similar manner, you all must understand that a proton is present within the nucleus of a particular atom. The second particle is going to be an electron. An electron is represented by the symbol E. याद रखना, subscript is the charge, superscript is the mass. अब इस चीज से हमें ये पता पड़ता है that an electron is considered to be negatively charged, therefore its charge is going to be -1, and the mass of an electron for all practical purposes is considered to be negligible. ऐसा नहीं है कि इलेक्ट्रॉन में मास नहीं है, बट हम उसको कंसिडर करने वाले नहीं हैं. Remember that an electron is present within orbits and those orbits can also be called as shells. These orbits, these shells are present around the nucleus. The third and final subatomic particle is going to be a neutron and it is going to be represented by the symbol N. If you all have a look at the subscript and the superscript, you all will realize that a neutron is considered to be absolutely neutral, यानी उसका चार्ज होने वाला है 0. But the mass of a neutron is very similar to the mass of a proton. It is also going to be 1 AMU, यानी कि 1 atomic mass unit. Finally, the neutrons are present along with the protons within the nucleus of that particular atom. And that brings us to the last piece of information. याद रखिए कि प्रोटॉन्स को और न्यूट्रॉन्स को, क्योंकि दोनों न्यूक्लियस में प्रेजेंट हैं, they are collectively called as nucleons. All of the information that you all require is there onto the board. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. So let's move on to the next part of this particular chapter. In this part of the video, assume that we have an element and we have represented it by the symbol X. आज के बाद हम ये बात ध्यान में रखेंगे that every element normally has a total of 2 numbers associated with it. Which 2 numbers are these? The first one is called as the atomic number and the second one is called as the mass number. Remember that the atomic number is represented by the symbol Z, which is present in subscript, and the mass number is represented by the letter A, which is present in superscript. Now remember, once you know the atomic number, it gives you the number of protons and it also gives you the number of electrons. ऐसा इसलिए because to keep an atom electrically neutral overall, the number of positive charges have to be exactly equal to the number of negative charges. अब इसका मतलब ये है that if you know the atomic number of a particular element, you know the number of protons and you know the number of electrons which are present within the atom of that element. In a similar manner, if you know the mass number of a particular element, you know the sum total of the protons and the neutrons. यानी कि protons और neutrons को add करने के बाद जो नंबर मिलेगा उसको हम बुलाते हैं mass number. Now let's put this down practically in a situation and understand it even better. I have given you all the example of an element called as aluminium. Its atomic number is 13 and its mass number happens to be 27. And you all are supposed to calculate with me how many protons, how many electrons and how many neutrons will this particular atom have. Have a look. 13 is the atomic number, which is equal to the number of protons and equal to the number of electrons. यानी कि an atom of aluminium will have 13 protons. It is also going to have 13 electrons. अब यहाँ पे मैंने आपके लिए एक चीज और सिंप्लीफाई कर दी है. न्यूट्रॉन्स को कैलकुलेट करने के लिए हमारे पास एक फॉर्मूला है, इट इज इक्वल टू द मास नंबर माइनस द एटॉमिक नंबर। मास नंबर कितना है 27, एटॉमिक नंबर कितना है 13। सो इफ आई टेक 27 subtract 13 from it, मुझे आंसर क्या आने वाला है 14, यानी कि an atom of aluminium will contain 13 protons, 13 electrons and 14 neutrons. Now if you have understood this particular concept, मैंने आपको एक और एग्जांपल दिया है जो इस वक्त आप सॉल्व करेंगे। कैल्शियम है, एटॉमिक नंबर 20, मास नंबर 40 and you all will calculate for me how many protons, how many electrons and how many neutrons does an atom of calcium have. कैसे? I am going to move out from the screen. You all will pause the video, take a screenshot, calculate the protons, electrons, neutrons in calcium, and then after that, once you all are done, replay the video again. I'll be back to give you all the correct answers. And this time, you all will self-evaluate. Any doubts over here? I hope not. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. So I'm hoping that till now you all have solved as far as the element calcium is considered. Now have a look onto the board. In this particular case, calcium has an atomic number of 20. Atomic number is equal to the number of protons as well as equal to the number of electrons. Yani ki in a single atom of calcium, I am going to have a total of 20 protons and a total of 20 electrons. मैंने आपको क्या बोला था that for solving with respect to the number of neutrons which are present in a particular element, आपको क्या करना है mass number minus the atomic number, mass number minus the atomic number, यानी 40 minus 20, and that gives me the number of neutrons in calcium also exactly the same as 20. With that, we have finished this particular concept. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. So now let's move on to the next part of this particular video where I'm going to teach you a concept called as electronic configuration. You all are well aware about the fact that electrons are present in orbits. The orbits can also be called as shells, but from now on you'll need to remember that orbits and shells can also be called as energy levels. Electronic configuration का मतलब ये है that once you know the number of electrons which are present in a particular atom, you all need to know how exactly are these electrons distributed in the orbits or shells or energy levels. और इस configuration को सीखने के लिए you all need to remember a total of 2 rules. The first rule is called as 2n square, where n is actually nothing but the orbit number. Remember that the orbit which is closest to the nucleus is also called as the first orbit or the first shell. It is also represented by the letter K, yani ki you can also call it as the K shell. Now understand, it is the first shell. So the n value for the K shell is going to be 1. What is 1 square? 1. What is that 1 into 2? 2. So that basically means that the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the first shell is going to be 2. In a similar manner, let's move on to the next shell, which is called as the L shell. Orbit number क्या है 2. उस 2 को हम n की जगह पे सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे. n स्क्वायर यानी 2 का स्क्वायर क्या हो गया 4. 4 into 2 क्या हो गया 8. Which means the maximum number of electrons which can be accommodated in the L shell, in the second shell, is going to be 8. In a similar manner, for M, the value of N is going to be 3. What is 3 square? 9. 9 into 2, 18. Maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the M shell is going to be 18. Finally, N shell, value of N is going to be 4. What is 4 square? 16. 16 into 2 is going to be a grand total of 32, which means the maximum number of electrons which can be accommodated in the fourth shell is going to be 32. Remember that the orbit which is nearest to the nucleus is going to have minimum energy. और जैसे जैसे आप K से बढ़ेंगे L, L से बढ़ेंगे M, M से बढ़ेंगे N, that the values of energy are continuously going to increase. यानी कि with respect to the 4 orbits that you all are seeing onto the board right now, K will have minimum energy. नीचे जाएंगे तो एनर्जी बढ़ता चला जाएगा, यानी N will have maximum energy. Apart from that, there is one more rule that you all need to remember. Listen to this very carefully. The last shell in a particular atom is also called as the valence shell. The last shell or the valence shell cannot have more than 8 electrons. And that is all of the information that you all need to remember for now. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. Now, in the previous part of the video, you all have learnt with me how to write down electronic configurations with respect to the rules that we discussed. Now, we're going to practically apply all of those rules to certain elements which are present onto the board right now. But before we do that, let's revise the rules that we just discussed. Remember that in the first shell, we can have a maximum of 2 electrons. In the second shell, we can have a maximum of 8 electrons. In the third shell, we can have a maximum of 18 electrons. And in the fourth shell, we can have a maximum of 32 electrons with respect to the 2n square rule that we had previously discussed. Also remember that the last shell, which is also called as the valence shell, should not have more than 8 electrons at any given point of time. The first element that we are going to discuss for today is called as nitrogen. It is given by the symbol N, and we need to accommodate a total of 7 electrons in all its shells. How many electrons will you accommodate in the first shell? Yes, it is going to be 2 because that is the maximum number allowed. Out of 7 electrons, 2 have been accommodated. How many left? 5. I can put all of those 5 electrons in the second shell because in the second shell, the maximum allowed is 8. Perfect. In the next one, we have sulfur. In this case, the atomic number is 16. So we need to accommodate 16 electrons. First shell में कितने आ जाएंगे? 2. Second shell में कितने आ जाएंगे? 8. Because that is the maximum capacity for both of these shells. Out of 16, I have accommodated 10. How many are left? 6. So all of those 6 can be accommodated in the third shell. Notice that the maximum number of electrons allowed in the third shell is 18. So I'm not breaking any rule over there. Also, first shell, second shell, third shell. Is this the third shell? Yes. Is this the last shell? Yes. Does it have more than 8 electrons? No. So I'm not even breaking the second rule. Now listen to the last one very, very, very carefully. 19 electrons to be accommodated for potassium. How many in the first shell? 2. How many in the second shell? 8. Out of 19, I have accommodated 10. How many are left? 9. Can I write down 9 here? See, I'm not breaking the first rule because the first rule says that in the third shell you can have a maximum of 18 electrons and I've accommodated just 9. But the problem is first shell, second shell, third shell. Is this the third shell? Yes. Is this the valence shell? Yes. And the valence shell, the last shell, cannot have more than 8 electrons. और यहाँ पे मैंने 9 accommodate कर दिए. So that's a problem with the second rule. तो हम क्या करेंगे? Let's erase that 9. Put an 8 over there. Now, out of 19 electrons, how many electrons have you accommodated? 18. 1 is left. And therefore, that is going to be the correct way of writing down the electronic configuration for potassium. In a similar manner, you all are expected to write down the configurations right now with respect to a total of 3 elements. The first one is chlorine, the second one is calcium, and the third one is boron. They have atomic numbers as 17, 20, and 5. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to move out of the screen. The board will enlarge. You all will take a screenshot. You all will write down the electronic configurations, and once you all are done, it's time for me to come back and explain to you all the same electronic configurations all over once again. I'm hoping that you don't have any doubts. अगर होंगे भी तो अगले पार्ट हम सॉल्व कर लेंगे. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. So assuming that you all have solved all of the 3 examples that I had asked you all, it's time for me to solve the same and you all can have a look whether you all got it correct or not. Let's have a look. The first one is chlorine. Atomic number 17. How many in the first shell? 2. Maximum capacity. How many in the second shell? 8. Maximum capacity. Out of 17, we've accommodated 10. 7 are left, 7 baki hai. So all of them can go in the third shell. Last shell hai, should not have more than 8 electrons. I haven't even broken any rule yet. ठीक है? अब यहाँ पे calcium. Atomic number 20. 20 electrons to be accommodated. First shell 2. Second shell 8. These two shells are filled onto maximum capacity. Now remember, 20 electrons हैं, 10 accommodate कर दिए. Can I accommodate 10 over here? With respect to the first rule, that's allowed. Because first rule के हिसाब से third shell can have a maximum of 18 electrons. और मैंने तो सिर्फ 10 accommodate किए हैं. The problem क्या है? First shell, second shell, third shell. This is the last shell. Should not have more than 8 electrons. तो हम क्या करते हैं? We'll remove the 10 from here. We'll put a 8. और जो बाकी के बचे हुए 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैं वो लास्ट शेल में चले जाएंगे. लास्ट शेल should not have more than 8 electrons. मैंने दिए भी नहीं है. Last one. We have boron over here. Atomic number 5. First shell 2. 5 में से 2 accommodate कर लिए, 3 ही बाकी हैं. तो second shell में 3 आ जाएंगे. I hope that does not leave you with any doubts. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. Now in this part of the video, I am going to explain to you all how to attempt an extremely important question which can come in your examination papers. Let's assume the question asks you all to make the atomic structure of an element which is called as phosphorus, and they have given you all the atomic number for phosphorus is 15 and the mass number is 31. The first thing that you all are supposed to do is calculate the number of protons, electrons and neutrons which are present in a single atom of phosphorus. We know as a matter of fact that the atomic number is equal to the number of protons and the number of electrons, which means phosphorus is going to have 15 protons and 15 electrons. Apart from that, I have also told you all that to calculate the number of neutrons, what are you all supposed to do? Mass number minus atomic number. 31 minus 15, which gives me the number of neutrons as 16. Now understand, before making this particular atomic structure, also remember to calculate the electronic configuration. There are a total of 15 electrons. I will be having 2 electrons in the first shell and 8 electrons in the second shell, because that is the maximum number of electrons that you can have in the first shell and the second shell respectively. Remember, 15 electrons थे, 10 accommodate कर लिए, 5 बाकी हैं, so the configuration is going to be 2, 8, 5. Now let's go on to draw the atomic structure. The first thing that you all will draw is going to be the nucleus of that particular atom, which contains protons and neutrons. कितने protons हैं हमारे पास? 15. So let's mention that information. कितने neutrons हैं हमारे पास? 16. So let's mention that information as well. How many shells do I need? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. In the first shell, I'll be having 2 electrons. So that's your first one, and that's your second one. Apart from that, 8 electrons in the second. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And in the last one, I'm going to have a total of 5 electrons. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you all must have noticed one thing over here. How have I represented the electrons? I've represented the electrons in the form of crosses. However, you all can also do it in the form of dots. It really doesn't matter. I've done it with crosses over here. It brings better visibility onto the board. Apart from that, remember one last thing. आप चाहें तो जितने भी इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैं उनको पेयर अप भी कर सकते हैं इस तरीके से. So there will be 2 electrons at any given point of time together. उससे होगा ये that the counting for you and the counting for the person who is correcting your papers also becomes much easy. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. So the next concept that we're going to discuss for today is called as noble gases. Now one thing that you all need to remember is that noble gases can also be called as inert gases. They can also be called as rare gases. How many noble gases do you all have in your syllabus? A total of 3. In that particular case, the first one happens to be helium, the second one happens to be neon, and the third one happens to be argon. They have atomic numbers of 2, 10, and 18 respectively. Now, first of all, you all must understand that noble gases are considered to be extremely unreactive. In that particular case, they are unreactive because they have a stable electronic configuration and their valence shell is considered to be complete. They are in fact so stable that they will neither lose electrons nor will they gain electrons. In this case, understand that helium is stable according to a rule called as the duplet rule. Duplet rule आपसे ये कहता है that if you have a single shell, if you have just one shell and that particular shell is completely filled with a total of 2 electrons, you are absolutely stable. The only noble gas which follows this particular rule is going to be helium. Apart from that, the other 2 noble gases are neon and argon, and they have a configuration of 2,8 and 2,8,8. They are stable according to something which is called as the octet rule. Octet rule ये कहता है that the last shell, that the valence shell should have a total of 8 electrons, and once that happens, your noble gases are going to be completely stable. Remember one thing. All of the other elements which are not noble gases are considered to be unstable. Stability gain करने के लिए वो क्या करेंगे? They will either lose electrons or they will gain electrons, and in certain cases they also share electrons. They continue losing, continue gaining, continue sharing electrons till they get the electronic configuration of the nearest noble gas. The moment they get the configuration of the nearest noble gas, they are considered to be absolutely stable. As far as this particular concept is considered, all of the information that you require is there onto the board. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. Now in this particular part of the video, I have written a note for you all that I want you all to remember. याद रखेंगे that if a particular element has 1, 2 or 3 valence electrons, it is considered to be a metal. If it has 4, 5, 6 or 7 valence electrons, it's considered to be a non-metal. And lastly, if a particular element has 8 valence electrons, for all practical purposes, it is considered to be a noble gas. जितने भी rules मैंने आपको यहाँ पे बताए हैं, these are valid only and only for the first 20 elements. But don't worry, the first 20 elements are only the elements which are there in your syllabus. उसके आगे हमें जाना नहीं है. With respect to all of the rules onto the board, there are a few exceptions. The first one happens to be hydrogen. Hydrogen exception इसलिए है because it is an element which is capable of behaving as a metal as well as a non-metal in different equations at different points of time. Second one happens to be helium. It is a noble gas which follows the duplet rule. It is the only noble gas which follows the duplet rule, so it happens to be an exception. And finally, we have a total of 2 elements. The first one happens to be boron and the second one happens to be silicon. Both of these particular elements are considered to be metalloids. That's all you all need to remember. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. Now let's move on to the next part of this particular chapter, which is called as valency. Remember that all of the elements apart from the noble gases are considered to be unstable. If they want to gain stability, they'll have to either lose electrons or they'll have to gain electrons. They will continue to lose electrons, continue to gain electrons till they attain the configuration of the nearest noble gas. Now let's understand this with examples. The first element over here is going to be potassium, atomic number 19, given by the configuration 2881. There's an octet rule of stability जिसके बारे में मैंने आपको बताया था. The last shell should have a total of 8 electrons. Now what can potassium do to gain stability? Yes, it will lose the electron which is present over here. Now lose करना है मतलब निकालना है मतलब subtract करना है, तो हम क्या लिख देते हैं माइनस. कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स निकालने हैं? 1. क्या निकालना है? इलेक्ट्रॉन, और उस इलेक्ट्रॉन के ऊपर चार्ज क्या है? माइनस। जब आप ऐसा करोगे तो ये लास्ट इलेक्ट्रॉन निकल जाएगा, तो नया कॉन्फ़िगरेशन क्या आएगा? 2 8 8। दैट इज द कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ द नियरेस्ट नोबल गैस फॉर पोटेशियम। किस गैस का कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है ये? आर्गन। नाउ इन दिस पर्टिकुलर केस, डिड यू लूज अ नेगेटिवली चार्ज्ड इलेक्ट्रॉन? नेगेटिविटी आपसे दूर गई तो आप क्या हो जाओगे? पॉजिटिव। कितने पॉजिटिव? K with a charge of 1+, क्योंकि हमने एक इलेक्ट्रॉन को निकाला है। करेक्ट? The next element is sulfur. Current configuration is 2 8 6. लास्ट शेल में कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होने चाहिए? 8. Which रूल के हिसाब से? ऑक्टेट रूल के हिसाब से। तो सल्फर क्या करना चाहता है? It wants to gain electrons. कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स गेन करेगा? 2. गेन करना है, ऐड करना है, प्लस कितने? 2. क्या गेन करना है? इलेक्ट्रॉन। इलेक्ट्रॉन का चार्ज क्या है? माइनस। 2 8 6 will become 2 8 8. आपने क्या गेन किया? इलेक्ट्रॉन्स। कितने गेन किए? 2. वो दोनों इलेक्ट्रॉन्स क्या थे? नेगेटिव। आपने अपने ऊपर और नेगेटिव चार्ज बढ़ाया तो आपका वैलेंसी भी नेगेटिव होगा। You will get S with a charge of 2-. और इसमें हो गया ये कि सल्फर को मिल गया इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ इट्स नोबल गैस, नियरेस्ट नोबल गैस called as argon. Have a look. Here we have fluorine. Current configuration is 2,7. Desired configuration should be 2,8. क्यों? क्योंकि 8 इलेक्ट्रॉन आ जाएंगे वैलेंस शेल में तो ऑक्टेट रूल सेटिस्फाई हो जाएगा। गेन करना पड़ेगा प्लस कितने? 1. क्या? इलेक्ट्रॉन। इलेक्ट्रॉन का चार्ज नेगेटिव। 2,7 बन जाएगा 2,8। इस तरीके से फ्लोरीन का कॉन्फ़िगरेशन बन जाएगा नियॉन का कॉन्फ़िगरेशन, एंड नियॉन इज द नियरेस्ट नोबल गैस फॉर फ्लोरीन। यू विल गेट F विद अ चार्ज ऑफ 1-, क्योंकि आपने एक नेगेटिवली चार्ज इलेक्ट्रॉन को किया है गेन। तो इस तरीके से आपको वैलेंसीज कैलकुलेट करना आ जाएगा। With respect to whatever information is there on the board, it's time for you all to take a snapshot. So now we have a small activity for you all. करना क्या है? You all have a total of 3 elements given onto the board. There's calcium, there's sodium, there's nitrogen. तीनों के एटॉमिक नंबर्स मैंने दे दिए, तीनों के कॉन्फ़िगरेशंस मैंने दे दिए। आपको क्या करना है? तीनों का कैलकुलेट करना है वैलेंसी विद रिस्पेक्ट टू समथिंग दैट यू ऑल मस्ट हैव जस्ट सीन इन द प्रीवियस पार्ट ऑफ द वीडियो। करेंगे क्या? आई विल मूव आउट ऑफ द स्क्रीन, बोर्ड एनलार्ज होगा, स्क्रीनशॉट लेना है, पॉज करना है वीडियो को, एंड वंस यू आर डन यू विल प्ले द वीडियो अगेन, आई विल कम बैक एंड आई विल सॉल्व एग्जैक्टली द सेम थिंग्स फॉर यू ऑल। इट्स टाइम फॉर यू ऑल टू टेक अ स्नैपशॉट। So let's have a look. The first element over here is going to be calcium. It is given by the configuration 2 8 8 2. Stable है, unstable है, unstable है। लास्ट शेल में कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होने चाहिए? 8 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होने चाहिए। कौन से रूल के हिसाब से? ऑक्टेट रूल के हिसाब से। तो निकाल देते हैं 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन। निकालना मतलब माइनस कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स? 2। क्या निकाला? इलेक्ट्रॉन। चार्ज ऑन एन इलेक्ट्रॉन माइनस 2 8 8 2 बन जाएगा 2 8 8, and you will get Ca with a charge of 2+. 2+ चार्ज इसलिए मिला क्योंकि हमने 2 नेगेटिवली चार्ज इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को बाहर निकाला। नेगेटिविटी आपसे दूर जाएगी, आप हो जाओगे पॉजिटिव। 2 8 8 का कॉन्फ़िगरेशन आया। 8 के हिसाब से, ऑक्टेट रूल के हिसाब से स्टेबल है। कॉन्फ़िगरेशन किसका है? आर्गन का है। कैल्शियम के लिए नियरेस्ट नोबल गैस है आर्गन। नेक्स्ट 281 इज द कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ सोडियम। स्टेबल होना है तो वो एक इलेक्ट्रॉन को निकालेगा। एक ही इलेक्ट्रॉन निकालना है, इलेक्ट्रॉन है, चार्ज नेगेटिव है। जब आप ऐसा करोगे तो आपके पास कॉन्फ़िगरेशन आ जाएगा 2 8। किसका कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है ये? नियॉन का कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है। 8 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स इन द लास्ट शेल, मतलब ऑक्टेट रूल मानता है। और जब आप ऐसा करोगे तो यू विल गेट Na विद अ चार्ज ऑफ 1+, क्योंकि आपने एक नेगेटिवली चार्ज इलेक्ट्रॉन को बाहर निकाला। नेगेटिविटी आपसे दूर गई, आप हो गए पॉजिटिव। फाइनली नाइट्रोजन का कॉन्फ़िगरेशन है 2,5। ऑक्टेट रूल के हिसाब से लास्ट शेल में होने चाहिए 8 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, तो नाइट्रोजन 3 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स गेन करने की कोशिश करेगा ताकि 2,5 बन जाएगा 2,8 गेन करना है। कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स? 3। क्या गेन करना है? इलेक्ट्रॉन। क्या चार्ज है उनके ऊपर? माइनस। 2,5 बन गया 2,8। n आ जाएगा विद अ चार्ज ऑफ 3 माइनस। 3 माइनस क्यों? क्योंकि 3 नेगेटिवली चार्ज इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को आपने गेन किया। आप भी हो जाओगे नेगेटिव क्योंकि आपने इतना सारा नेगेटिव चार्ज गेन किया है। तो आएगा n विद अ चार्ज ऑफ 3 माइनस 2,8 का कॉन्फ़िगरेशन आया है। लास्ट शेल में 8 इलेक्ट्रॉन है, कंप्लीटली स्टेबल है। एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट इज द कॉन्फ़िगरेशन ऑफ नियॉन, जो है नाइट्रोजन का नियरेस्ट नोबल गैस। आई होप इसके बाद अब इस कॉन्सेप्ट में कोई डाउट रहना नहीं चाहिए। इट्स टाइम फॉर यू ऑल टू टेक अ स्नैपशॉट। Now it's time to culminate all of the information that you all have learned in this particular video. The chart that you all are able to see onto the screen right now gives you the names of the first 20 elements, their symbols, atomic numbers, mass numbers, number of protons, electrons and neutrons, valency, as well as specifies the fact as to whether they are a metal, non-metal, metalloid or a noble gas. Please take a screenshot for the same. It's going to be an extremely valuable information. Now moving on to the next concept, which is called as isotopes. The first thing that we need to realize for isotopes is its definition. I'm giving it out, listen to it carefully. It's also there onto the board. In this case, isotopes are atoms of the same element, having the same atomic number but different mass number. Now have a look over here with respect to the example. I have a total of 2 atoms over here. Both of the atoms are of chlorine. तो इससे हमारी ये बात साबित हो जाती है that isotopes are atoms of the same element. They both have the same atomic number. दोनों का atomic number कितना है? 17. But they have different mass numbers. एक का mass number है 35, दूसरे का mass number है 37. Now what are we going to do over here is, इन दोनों isotopes के लिए we are going to calculate respectively the protons, electrons and neutrons. Let's have a look over here. 17 is the atomic number. Atomic number is equal to the number of protons and electrons. So दोनों के लिए protons भी और electrons भी कितने हो जाएंगे? 70. न्यूट्रॉन के लिए मैंने क्या बोला था? मास नंबर माइनस एटॉमिक नंबर। 35 माइनस 70 कितना आ जाएगा? 80. Apart from that, have a look here. 17 is again the atomic number. Atomic number is equal to the number of protons and electrons. Protons कितने? 70. Electrons कितने? 70. और न्यूट्रॉन के लिए क्या बोला था? मास नंबर माइनस एटॉमिक नंबर। 37 minus 17, इस बार न्यूट्रॉन्स आ जाएंगे 20. Now when you all look at this particular part over here, you all will realize that since isotopes have the same atomic number, their protons and electrons are exactly the same. At the same time, you all will realize that since they have different mass numbers, उसकी वजह से दो isotopes के जो neutrons होते हैं, they tend to be different. One last thing that you all need to remember over here is that chemical properties are dependent on the atomic number. For both of them, the atomic number is the same. So chemical properties of all the isotopes is going to be the same. उनके chemical reactions एकदम एक जैसे होंगे. But physical properties are dependent upon the mass number. दोनों का mass number अलग है. अगर दोनों का mass number अलग है, तो दोनों के फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज भी अलग होंगे. यानी आइसोटोप्स जैसे एलिमेंट्स हैं तो उनका मेल्टिंग पॉइंट है, बॉइलिंग पॉइंट है, ये सारे फिजिकल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होते हैं. सो फॉर आइसोटोप्स these physical characteristics, these physical properties are going to be different. That's all for this particular part of the video. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. So small activity for you all onto the board right now. I have given you all a total of 3 isotopes of hydrogen. इनके नाम हैं I'm pronouncing them for you all. The first one is called as protium, the second one is called as deuterium, and the third one is called as tritium. सबके symbols are exactly the same, again showing the fact that isotopes are atoms of the same element, having the same atomic number but different mass number. आपको मेरे लिए क्या करना है, तीनों के लिए, तीनों आइसोटोप्स के लिए प्रोटॉन्स, इलेक्ट्रॉन्स और न्यूट्रॉन्स को करना है अच्छे तरीके से कैलकुलेट, एंड यू ऑल विल रिकॉल द प्रीवियस पार्ट ऑफ द वीडियो, और मुझे ये बताओगे कि इन तीनों आइसोटोप्स के केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज सेम होंगे या डिफरेंट, और इन तीनों आइसोटोप्स के फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज सेम होंगे या डिफरेंट. क्या करना है, आई मूव आउट ऑफ द स्क्रीन, ये बोर्ड बड़ा होगा, स्क्रीनशॉट लेना है उसका अच्छे तरीके से, एंड देन यू हैव टू replay that particular video when I'm going to come back and give you all the answers. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. So assuming you all have done every single thing जो मैंने आपको करने के लिए बोला था, अब डिस्कस करने की बारी आई है, सेल्फ इवैल्यूएशन करने की बारी आई है, whether the answers that we have got are correct or wrong. Have a look. For the first isotope of hydrogen called as protium, यहाँ से मुझे मिल जाएंगे number of protons and electrons. So proton 1, electron 1. न्यूट्रॉन के लिए क्या बोला था, मास नंबर माइनस एटॉमिक नंबर, 1 माइनस 1 कितना हो जाता है, 0. यानी कि प्रोटियम के केस में एक प्रोटॉन होगा, एक इलेक्ट्रॉन होगा, पर न्यूट्रॉन होने वाला नहीं है. ड्यूटेरियम के केस में प्रोटॉन और इलेक्ट्रॉन वापस यहीं से मिल जाएंगे, तो एक प्रोटॉन मिलेगा, एक इलेक्ट्रॉन मिलेगा. न्यूट्रॉन के लिए क्या करना है, मास नंबर माइनस एटॉमिक नंबर, 2 माइनस 1, क्या आंसर आएगा, 1. यानी कि ड्यूटेरियम के केस में एक प्रोटॉन, एक इलेक्ट्रॉन, एक न्यूट्रॉन, है कि नहीं. फाइनली ट्रिटियम के केस में यहीं से वापस प्रोटॉन्स और इलेक्ट्रॉन्स मिल जाएंगे, तो एक प्रोटॉन, एक इलेक्ट्रॉन. न्यूट्रॉन के लिए क्या, मास नंबर माइनस एटॉमिक नंबर, 3 माइनस 1, क्या आंसर आएगा, 2. तो ट्रिटियम के केस में एक प्रोटॉन होगा, एक इलेक्ट्रॉन होगा, पर 2 होंगे न्यूट्रॉन्स. इससे एक और बात साबित हो जाती है जो मैंने आपको प्रीवियस पार्ट ऑफ द वीडियो में भी बोला था, isotopes have the same number of protons, isotopes have the same number of electrons, but isotopes have different number of neutrons. अब लास्ट में आती है फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज की बात और केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज की बात. केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज किस पे डिपेंडेंट है, दे आर डिपेंडेंट ऑन द एटॉमिक नंबर. एटॉमिक नंबर फॉर ऑल ऑफ देम हैपेंस टू बी द सेम, यानी कि केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज विल बी द सेम. फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज किस पे डिपेंडेंट होते हैं, मास नंबर पे. Mass number for all of them happens to be different. Yani the physical properties for all of these isotopes is also going to be different. I hope you are getting it. It's time for you all to take a snapshot. So now we are coming on to the last part of this particular chapter, where I'm going to explain to you all कि जब हम एलिमेंट क्लोरीन के बारे में बात करते हैं, तो क्लोरीन का जो मास नंबर है, इट हैपेंस टू बी 35.5. अब ऐसा क्यों, ध्यान से सुनो, कॉन्सेप्ट थोड़ा बहुत डिफिकल्ट है. आई विल बी गोइंग स्लोली एंड आई होप कि इसके बाद कोई भी डाउट इस कॉन्सेप्ट में रहने वाला नहीं है. मैं आपको ऑलरेडी बता चुका हूं कि क्लोरीन के कितने आइसोटोप्स हैं अपने पास, अ टोटल ऑफ 2. For both of them the symbol happens to be the same because they are atoms of the same element. Atomic number happens to be the same. दोनों का एटॉमिक नंबर क्या है, 17. वहां पे कोई प्रॉब्लम है ही नहीं. पर पहले वाले का मास नंबर है 35 और दूसरे वाले का मास नंबर है 37. अब प्रॉब्लम है यहाँ पे अबंडेंस की. अगर आप इस यूनिवर्स में जितना भी क्लोरीन है सबको एक जगह पे लेके आ जाओगे, तो आपको पता पड़ेगा that 75% of all chlorine is of the first kind, but 25% of all the chlorine is of the second type. तो अगर मैं आपको एक आसान सा सवाल पूछूं, आपको पता है 75% is of the first type, 25% is of the second type. तो मैं आपको क्या करता हूं, मैं आपको रैंडमली 100 एटम्स दे देता हूं क्लोरीन के. उन 100 एटम्स में से जो मैंने आपको क्लोरीन के दिए हैं, हाउ मेनी ऑफ देम विल बी ऑफ द फर्स्ट टाइप. बड़ी आसान सी बात है, 75% ऑफ 100 होता ही क्या है, 75. मतलब उन 100 एटम्स में से 75 एटम्स विल बी ऑफ द फर्स्ट काइंड, करेक्ट? 25% of those 100 atoms will be of the second chlorine, है ना? तो 25% of those 100 atoms कितना होता है? 25 atoms. So 25 atoms out of those 100 atoms will be of the second chlorine. पर कैलकुलेशन को थोड़ा आसान बनाना चाहिए ना. 100 atoms इतना बड़ा सैंपल साइज लेके करेंगे क्या? कम लेते हैं सैंपल साइज, छोटा लेते हैं सैंपल साइज. सैंपल साइज लेते हैं सिर्फ और सिर्फ 4 एटम्स का. अब ध्यान से सुनो, ध्यान से मेरी बात का जवाब देने की कोशिश करो. 4 एटम्स हैं क्लोरीन के, एकदम रैंडमली करेक्ट किया, आपको 4 एटम्स दे दिए. हाउ मेनी ऑफ दोस 4 एटम्स विल बी ऑफ द फर्स्ट काइंड? आंसर है 75% ऑफ 4. 75% ऑफ 4 होता कितना है? 3. मतलब आउट ऑफ दोस 4 एटम्स 3 एटम्स विल बी ऑफ द फर्स्ट काइंड, है ना? अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट 4 एटम्स में से 3 एटम्स पहले क्लोरीन के हैं, तो बाकी का जो एक एटम बचा होगा वो ऑब्वियसली दूसरे क्लोरीन से होगा. सो 1 एटम ऑफ द सेकंड काइंड. एंड एक्चुअली दिस वन ये आया कैसे? इट इज 25% ऑफ 4, है कि नहीं? नाउ अंडरस्टैंड. आपने सैंपल में कितने एटम्स लिए थे? 4. तो आपको एवरेज भी उसी के हिसाब से कैलकुलेट करना है. लेट अस अज्यूम कि पहले क्लोरीन एटम का मास नंबर 35 है. ये बात अपने को अच्छे से पता है. आउट ऑफ दोस 4 एटम्स हाउ मेनी आर ऑफ द फर्स्ट काइंड? 3. तो हम क्या करेंगे? 35 को 3 से कर लेंगे मल्टीप्लाई, है ना? आउट ऑफ दोस 4 एटम्स हाउ मेनी आर ऑफ द सेकंड काइंड? 1. वो जो सेकंड काइंड वाला क्लोरीन है उसका मास नंबर क्या था? 37. तो 37 ले लिया. बट इस बार कितने से मल्टीप्लाई करूंगा? जस्ट 1, क्योंकि उन 4 एटम्स में से सिर्फ एक एटम दूसरे क्लोरीन का था, है ना? एवरेज लेने के लिए आपको पूरा सैंपल साइज देना पड़ता है. पूरा सैंपल साइज कितना लिया था अपन ने सेकंड केस में? 4 एटम्स का. सो लेट्स डिवाइड बाय 4. यस और नो? लेट्स गो अहेड. 35 into 3 होता है 105. 37 into 1 होता है 37 डिवाइडेड बाय 4. जब आप 105 और 37 को एड अप करोगे आपको मिलेगा 142 डिवाइडेड बाय 4. एंड फाइनली वो आंसर आ जाता है जिसके लिए हम इतनी मेहनत कर रहे हैं. 142 डिवाइड बाय 4 इज इक्वल टू 35.5. नाउ दैट इज द मास नंबर ऑफ क्लोरीन. अब एक बात याद रखो, ये मास नंबर किसी भी एक क्लोरीन एटम के लिए वैलिड नहीं है. ऐसा कोई क्लोरीन एटम हो ही नहीं सकता जिसका मास नंबर है 35.5. पॉसिबल ही नहीं है. अगर आप ऐसा करोगे ना तो मतलब क्या निकलेगा पता है? दैट क्लोरीन एटम विल हैव 18.5 न्यूट्रॉन्स. ऐसा हो सकता है क्या? नहीं. सो इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस ये जो है नंबर, इट इज एन एवरेज ऑफ ऑल क्लोरीन एटम्स. किसी एक क्लोरीन एटम के लिए, किसी सिंगल क्लोरीन एटम के लिए ये चीज वैलिड नहीं है. आई नो द कॉन्सेप्ट इज डिफिकल्ट, बट इस कॉन्सेप्ट के लिए जितनी भी चीजें जरूरत हैं वो बोर्ड के ऊपर है. तो आप इतना अच्छे से याद कर लो, कॉन्सेप्ट एकदम क्लियर हो जाएगा. एंड यू ऑल नो व्हाट? इट्स टाइम फॉर यू ऑल टू टेक अ स्नैपशॉट. So that brings us to the end of this particular chapter. I am well aware about the fact that 8th and 9th standard syllabus also prescribe chemical bonding as a part of this particular chapter. So don't worry at all. I'll be making a video on chemical bonding completely separately and in great detail, which can be utilized by standards of 8th, 9th as well as 10th. Needless to say, if you all have any doubts as far as this particular chapter is considered, please post your doubts in the comment section below. I'll be trying my level best as all times to answer those doubts as quickly as possible. If you all have enjoyed the video, do hit the thumbs up icon and do subscribe to Utsav's ChemTrek.